At some point, almost every shooter over 50 asks the same question: which discipline should I actually be focusing on? Maybe you started in one and are wondering if another suits you better now. Maybe you are newer to the sport and the choice feels overwhelming. Trap, skeet, and sporting clays each have passionate advocates, each have distinct physical and mental demands, and each will reward you in different ways depending on where your strengths lie. But here is what most comparisons miss. The best discipline for a shooter over 50 is not simply the easiest one. It is the one that plays most directly to the advantages that experienced shooters already have: target reading, process consistency, patience at the shot, and mental stability under pressure. Today, we are going to break down all three disciplines honestly: what each one demands physically and mentally, where each one rewards experience over youth, and which one, based on everything the evidence shows, gives the over 50 shooter the clearest path to consistent, satisfying performance. If you are new here, hit subscribe. Let's get into it. What makes each discipline different? Before we compare them, let's be precise about what each discipline actually involves, because the differences go much deeper than the target presentations. Trap shooting sends a single clay away from the shooter at varying horizontal angles, always moving outward and upward. The shooter stands behind the trap house, calls pull, and has a relatively long window to break the bird. 5 shooters rotate through 5 stations around a semicircle. Skeet shooting uses 2 trap houses, a high house on the left and a low house on the right. Shooters move through 8 stations in a semicircle between the 2 houses, facing crossing targets, incoming targets, and simultaneous doubles. The angles are fixed and entirely predictable from station to station. Sporting clays is deliberately designed to replicate live quarry shooting. Courses present a wide variety of target types: crossers, incomers, driven birds, rabbits along the ground, chandelles rising steeply overhead. No 2 courses are identical. The targets change constantly, and so does the mental challenge of reading each one. 3 disciplines, 3 very different demands, and 3 very different relationships with the advantages that come with age and experience. Trap, the discipline of consistency. Trap is built around repeatability. The target always moves away from you. The angles vary, but within a predictable range. The hold point, the visual pickup zone, the general swing direction, these are all knowable before you call pull. For younger shooters, trap can feel almost too straightforward. The physical demands are manageable, the target window is generous, and the patterns become familiar quickly. For experienced shooters over 50, that familiarity is a genuine asset. Your target reading library, built over years of range time, maps directly onto trap's predictable presentations. You're not reacting to surprises. You're executing against a known pattern, and executing a known pattern reliably is precisely what deeply grooved experience produces. Trap also rewards patience at the shot. Because the target is moving away and rising, shooters who wait for the right moment, who resist the urge to rush, consistently outperform those who hurry. This is one of the clearest areas where the over 50 shooter's natural timing advantage pays dividends directly in the score. The limitation of trap for some older shooters is physical. The repetitive swing direction and the standard gun mount position can place consistent strain on shoulders that have accumulated years of use. If gun fit and shoulder comfort are already a consideration for you, trap's high volume of similar shots deserves attention before committing heavily to it. Skeet, the discipline of angles. Skeet is more physically demanding than trap in one specific way. The crossing targets require a more active swing, broader body rotation, and, on certain stations, an aggressive forward mount to maintain lead on fast-moving birds. The fixed nature of Skeet's presentations, however, is one of its most underappreciated advantages for experienced shooters. Because every station on every Skeet field presents exactly the same targets in exactly the same way, Skeet rewards the kind of deep process consistency that years of correct repetition build. Once you have shot Station 4, the center station with simultaneous high and low doubles, enough times, your body simply knows what to do. The hold point, The visual pickup, the swing tempo, the shot timing, all of it becomes encoded. The conscious mind has very little to do except avoid interfering. This makes Skeet one of the most revealing disciplines for identifying where process breakdowns actually occur. Because the targets are identical every time, any variability in your score is almost entirely a product of mental and technical inconsistency, not target difficulty. Skeet holds up a very honest mirror. The challenge of Skeet for some over 50 shooters is the crossing speed at certain stations, particularly stations 1, 2, 6, and 7. These require genuine lead and committed swing speed. If visual tracking has changed meaningfully, these stations require deliberate compensatory technique rather than pure reaction, which is entirely manageable, but worth understanding before you set your expectations. Sporting clays, the discipline of adaptability. Sporting clays is the most complex of the three disciplines, and for a specific kind of experienced shooter, it is the most rewarding. The reason is this: every target on a sporting clays course demands fresh target reading. You cannot rely on a memorized pattern from last week's round because the presentation has changed. You must observe the bird, read its line and speed, identify the breakpoint, and build your approach in the moment. This sounds like it would favor younger shooters with faster processing. In practice, it consistently rewards experienced shooters who have built a broad and deep library of target types over many years. When you have broken thousands of crossers, chandelles, rabbits, and driven birds across many different courses, your brain does not process each new presentation from scratch. It matches the incoming information against a rich library of previous experience and generates an approach almost immediately. Younger shooters, with a smaller library, take longer to read unfamiliar targets, and that lag costs them. Sporting clays also rewards the mental stability that comes with age. The variety of presentations, the unexpected angles, the targets that look different from what you planned, all of these create pressure moments that send less experienced shooters into reactive, rushed shooting. The experienced shooter who can absorb the unexpected, reset calmly, and execute their process regardless of the target is the one who scores consistently. The physical consideration in sporting clays is the walking involved. Most courses cover meaningful distance between stations. For shooters managing joint or mobility considerations, this is worth factoring into your choice, though many clubs offer cart access for those who need it. The verdict: which is best for over 50? Here is the honest answer. There is no single best discipline, but there is a best starting point and a clear logic for where to go from there. If you are newer to clay shooting or returning after a long break, start with trap. The predictable presentations let you build process and confidence without overwhelming target variety. The skills you develop, patience, consistent mount, deliberate swing, transfer directly to every other discipline. If you want to sharpen your technical precision and expose exactly where your process breaks down, add Skeet. The fixed presentations make your inconsistencies visible in a way that no other discipline matches. Skeet is the discipline that honest shooters use to audit themselves. If you want the most complete expression of everything that experienced shooting produces: target reading, adaptability, mental stability, process under pressure, sporting clays is where those advantages combine most powerfully. It is the discipline that rewards the full depth of what you have built over years. The over 50 shooter who wants to keep growing, stay challenged, and use every advantage that experience provides will eventually find their way to sporting clays. But the path through trap and Skeet first makes you significantly better when you get there. Come back and tell me in the comments, which discipline are you shooting right now? And which one are you curious about? I read every comment, and I genuinely want to know where you are in this journey. If you want to understand exactly which physical and mental advantages you already have as a shooter over 50, watch this video right here. It will change how you see your own shooting. Keep building, keep shooting smart, and I'll see you in the next one.